Immigration is just a toxic political issue right now. 25 years ago, Barbara Jordan, African-American Democrat, was pushing for immigration reform, right? Because if you have open borders and cheap labor, it hurt the African-American community, and it hurt anybody that was working for low wages. And 10 years ago, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Dick Durbin all agreed with that. And so something has flipped recently. And so we've done amnesties in the past. In an amnesty, you give illegals a new legal status, right? But as soon as you do that, you got 8 billion people that live outside the country that say, hey, these Americans are nice people. And so once you do an amnesty, you just sent a signal to the rest of the world, hey, once you make it in there, you're golden, right? So it depends how you do policy. So now Republicans have put up an amnesty offer, right? A DACA thing for 700,000 of the DACA kids who signed up for DACA. That's what the Democrats wanted. And they can't get to yes on this for some reason. So it's a weird political dance we're doing right now. And it's tricky. If you give the DACA or the Dreamer kids full citizenship, you're letting them jump in line ahead of other folks who are trying to come in illegally. So the legal immigrants don't want to do that. And you don't want to build this toxic relationship with people who kind of cut in line. That's not good moving forward. So I think we've come to a place where, we don't want people working in the shadows. You want to do the right thing. But, and I'm for this Goodlatte bill if you want to get technical about it, but the Goodlatte bill has thoughtful policy about what's going to happen next. So, okay, we'll compromise, right? Everyone thought tens of millions of people were going to be deported when Trump won. The left was hyperbolic. I mean, they thought this could be tragedy. We've moved from that, none of that happened. We moved from that position to give legal status to illegals. I'd call that quite a compromise on the Republican side, right? To move from that escalator speech to that policy is quite a compromise, and the Democrats won't meet us anywhere, right? And so the compromise has to do with a couple things called chain migration or E-Verify, which means you have legal hiring. It's not a radical concept, right? That you should hire legal American citizens, and that's basically the debate. And it is true in this context also. We have supposedly tight labor markets right now. The unemployment rate's low. Not good. The labor force participation rate is at its all-time low. We have 25 million people back in 2008 and since that have left the labor market altogether. So they're on various forms of welfare, et cetera. A lot of it not their own fault. The elite screwed it up with a financial collapse. So they're in poverty traps. Bernanke and Greenspan said this is the most damaging effect of the financial crisis. It's the folks that are out of work. It's very hard to get them back into skilled thing. And so business wants some cheap labor. And instead of training in these folks who have been decimated, we're just bringing folks in from the rest of the world for cheap. So for me, I don't like that move until you first solved your internal problems. And then you got the kids who've been not taught what a business is. Right? So we went over that before. 13 years, 14 grand a year. They don't know what a business is. And every business around here does tell me I can't find skilled labor. That's true. I can imagine why, if you haven't taught your kids what a business is, and that it might be a morally worthwhile thing to have a job, right? I mean, so if you're not teaching these fundamental things, I can see why you want a shortcut. But if the country takes that shortcut forever, we're never going to solve the fundamental problems for the poorest of the poor, by the way.